Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and welcome back to the other channel. I am your host, Antonio Dong, and this is the second episode, and we are finishing up with demystifying German cars. So in the last episode, I highlighted a few of the things of the advantages of the German cars or the European cars over the Asian counterparts, and also tried to shed light onto the reason as to why you shouldn't fear them so much. In today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude by giving you the advantages or giving you the caution, the things that you choose that you should do and you should not do in case you have decided to go German. First of all, there is a scare about the prices of spare parts. That one is true. It is not just a scare. The spare parts are pricey. I won't say they're expensive, they're pricey because they are worth that price, in the sense that most of these spare parts are built to last. If not, then all the spare parts are built to last. For instance, in the suspension system, the bushings of the German cars are way stronger and more advanced in the technologies that have been deployed to have them put out there on the market, because the producers understand that these cars are really heavy and the delivery has to really be that good, so they invest quite a little more than the technologies that their other counterparts would do in order to have these things last a bit quite longer. The only problem here we have is our roads. Some of our road networks are really not so good, but still they are built to withstand some of those kind of impacts and shocks. So the suspension, that's why the suspension of a German car compared to a Japanese car is a bit different. So the spare parts are expensive, yes, but then once you put them, you will relax. The next time you're coming back for them, it will be after a while. If you are driving on good roads, on good paved roads, you may go up to 3 years. That one is a sure. So unless you use it as your daily car and the road that you take your car to is really bad, then you may have to change it more often. But these spare parts are really built to last, so you don't have to change them more frequently. I've seen in so many Japanese cars, you have to change some of these things quite often. So basically, that is just a case in point, but the rest of the spare parts are also the same. In most cases, the thing that you will do frequently is service, oil change, service, and just regular service and maintenance. That is what you will do in the German cars. But for the other counterparts, we already know what it is. So if someone tells you that these cars are very hard to maintain or they're very costly to maintain, in regards to spare parts, then let them check where they're getting their spare parts from. It is very absurd that the spare parts market has already been flooded by counterfeits, not only in Uganda but world over. So how do you get rid of these things? One, you'll have to look out for a garage or a spare parts store that sells genuine. By genuine, of course, even the people who are making the counterfeits put stickers and things that make it look like it's original, or it's the exact thing that you may need. But then, testing and trusting, the best thing to do is word of mouth. When someone refers you and says so and so or such and such a place is where I get my things from and they have not disappointed, please follow, go there. Chances are highly that you will get the thing you need. But of course, the market is already flooded with counterfeit, and that is something that we have to deal with. It may be very hard to identify between the counterfeit and the originals and the genuine, but the experts can help you with that. So find a good garage, a good spare parts store, and a trusted mechanic or technician, someone who has already been in the game for quite some time. Then they will help you out and you will not knock a wall. So you won't have to fix something, drive out 2-3 days and you say, I'm done with this thing. The counterfeits will come at the same price as the genuine. Reason being, it is all for the German cars. So they will take advantage as much as they can. They will not let you get to realize that there is something wrong with this spare part by selling it cheaply, because they know that once you own a German car, you know the prices of the spare parts, and anything that comes cheaper than that, there are question marks that are attached to them. So they will still sell you the counterfeit at a higher price, just like the genuine. So it will be very hard for you to know. It is better you let the experts go and check them out and know. They look very similar. Actually, they look the same, but they don't work the same. So please, while buying spare parts, you will have to watch out. Now, that one is on maintenance. 2, let us come back now to acquiring. How would you best acquire a German car that is not going to break your back? Because they come in grades and classes. German cars come in grades and classes. There are basic ones, then there are mid-class, then there are those ones which are high-end, the executive versions. So in order for you to have something that is going to suit your pocket, especially for a middle class citizen that can actually afford decency, this is something that is basic that you can always look out for while going for the German car brands. One, while buying, please don't be so unique. Don't be extraordinary. Do not even try that. Don't try to get something that is not in the market. Go for the common brands. Go for the common brands. There, you will have chances of surviving on the road longer. If you go for an extraordinary brand, remember there are particular parts and additions that are put on them to bring out the extraordinary in them. So once you go for them, you may fail to get spare parts locally. That is, if it is urgent. So it will need you to again import spare parts, or even the technicians themselves may have to go back to their books so that they can learn some of those, so that they can learn how some of those things are done, especially for cars that have been tuned out of the factory, or cars that have been made, let's say, like limited editions. They have particular or special additions that have been added to them. Those ones can give technicians it can take technicians again back to books so that they can try to figure out how these things function. So you wouldn't want to be that guy who has his car parked in the garage with qualified technicians who have been working for so many years, and then they can't figure out how to help you. So go for a common brand, the ones that you actually see on the road. Find someone who already has one and ask them questions about them. So make as many consultations as you can about a particular brand that you want to jump into. So when buying, please note that very carefully, unless you are buying then tuning it from within. But tuned cars, avoid them. Avoid cars that have already been tampered with. So go for the ordinary or the common brand that you already see for the German cars. So also when you are buying that common model, please, these cars come in generations, so get the last year model of that generation. Reason being, in the first year model of a generation of a car, there are always so many things that go wrong. So in the models that keep coming afterwards, improvements keep being made. They keep making improvements, and they keep working on the mistakes they made in the previous year models. So when you get the last one, the last year model of a particular generation, you are getting a very good deal. You will not be having the mistakes that were made in the first or in the year models that came before. So when you go for the last year model, you are sure of a little less problem than its previous counterparts. You could be having Go 5s of different generations, but when you get the last year generation, it will work way better than the first year generation, as in the first year model. Yes. So if you go for the final year model of that generation, you are definitely going to get a good deal among us that generation of the German cars. So when you are choosing your German car, please go for the last year models. They actually do the magic. So when you are also buying these German cars, please, especially if you're buying them locally, I would advise that you buy a car that you already know. Especially if you're buying locally used, buy a car that you already know, probably from a friend, a car that you have driven, a car that you have tested yourself, you understand it. Say that these situations where someone is selling because of a particular reason, and you know that car, you be like, okay, I know this car, I have driven it, I think I'm familiar with it. So, and the person, you also know the person you are buying from, honesty and integrity, the character of the person you are buying the car from. If it is clear to you, then it's already a green flag. You can go ahead and buy that car. Also, to be sure, you also have to bring in a mechanic, an independent mechanic with integrity, someone you probably know, or someone who you trust is not going to be biased. Someone who wants the best for you, someone who will be honest enough to tell you. They do exist. And some of them are endorsed in the comment section. You can check in the comment section for links to garages that can help you out. So look for a mechanic to come and check the car and tell you its future problems, because definitely a car that is already on the road has things that are going to fail soon or later. So the mechanic can come and tell you such and such a thing needs to be worked on, or such and such a part needs to be fixed. These are the problems with the car you can do with it. These are the ones you cannot do with. This one will cost you an arm and a leg. This one will cost you only an arm. So such mechanics do exist. I am going to share links to contacts to such garages down here that work with integrity for German cars. So consider buying a car that you are familiar with. That is, if you're buying locally used. In most cases, when you go to a car bond, it is very hard for them to let you leave the bond with the car. So it's a bit quite tricky to understand some of the car problems that you will get while you're already on the road. For example, suspension you cannot trust. So when you're buying a car from the bond, it is parked. You should be sure of high chances of changing the suspension, doing the changes in the suspension for bushes and arms and the shocks. So when you're buying from a bond, they have limitations. So your mechanic can only go and check on the things they can check on. They can check on the software and the hardware. They will just check maybe by sight or by seeing and telling you what could be required. Or sometimes the parts that can be shaken by hand or just a few metals here and there, they can also check them out for you. So when you're buying from the bond like it is standard, you will have to change tires and stuff. So those things also apply on German cars. You don't buy a German car from a bond and you think the tires are already okay. These tires dry out, they have been in transit, probably there are a lot of things that go on, especially in the car bond. People who deal in cars, people who deal in selling and buying cars understand that very well. So when you're buying from a bond, it is a bit tricky because not everything will be given out to you out there. So buy a car you're familiar with, it is easier. So if you've also chosen to import a car, in most cases there are websites that give you details of the car, and they have the history or the records that have been taken for service and mechanical works that have been done on the car. They keep all those catalog in the car. So it is best to find a car that is having all that documentation, so it is easier for you to follow up on what has been done on the car already. And once you land on that, please do not try unless you understand this game very well. Do not try to import a car on your own. it is better to move with a certified or authorized car importer. Let them bring the car in for you, so you can follow up on a few other things. If anything goes wrong, let's say in transit, yes, they do. I have had experiences of people who import cars and then cars come without things like catalytic converters, fog lights, radios have been swapped. You get. So if you import a car yourself and in transit such things happen, who do you run to? Even your insurance company may be hesitant in trying to help you because, like, you did it yourself, you are sure you are following up on everything. It is really hard. It is cheaper though, but then it is better to deal with a company that is already in the game, so you can follow up. You go to them and you claim for some of those losses or anything that happens. Even a minor scratch, you can claim for it while you import your car using a car importer. Also, link to some of the credible car importers will be down here in the description. So when importing a car, please try as much as possible to identify the car, then let your car importer know about it, so they can help you out with importing it, and you have your insurance active on the car. So let's say you have already bought your car and it has arrived in the country, it's already with you, you have seen it, you have tested, you have even given it probably registration, you have licensed it, you have got your number plate. What next? Take your car for red dot inspection. Let your car be fully inspected for its roadworthiness. Whether the car feels good, please don't hesitate. Take your car to the garage, to the mechanics, and let them have it checked out so you can drive comfortably with no worries about parts falling or maybe the car getting stuck in the middle of the road or in the middle of nowhere. So still have your car checked. Red dot inspection is very key. Once you've imported your car, before you start using it, whether you are using it as a daily ride or as a weekend ride, or maybe you use it once in a while for special occasions or events, have your car checked before you take it to the road. So get the mechanics, do the work. Do not trust the oil, the engine oil, the service parts that are in the car. Change them. The oil filters, the air filters, the cabin filters. Change them so that you don't have them falling. They may look good, but they have not been in use. They have been beaten by weather probably. So they will just break. Maybe they have even become brittle. So they can just crash in your car there and you start having issues earlier than you expect. So for everything that might seem to be out of order in your car, in your new car, please have them fixed. Have them fixed so that you don't encounter issues while driving on the early days of your car. Then before you start complaining, German cars, I was told. Once you already have your car, you have already fixed it, done the red dot inspection. This one is very important. It is hard for some people, but you need to be a little careful with your car. Whoever drives your car, you need to be a little cautious about who you give your car to. In other words, it is better to have your car driven by only you. So someone can borrow your car, take it out there, encounter issues, and then they come back and they will not tell you. At times the dashboard warning lights will come on and go off. And if it is not made known to you, it's already a time bomb. They are warning lights. So they will just come and then they may go away by themselves. So if you're not told, you will not know that something is already getting wrong with the car. But if you are told, then well and good. Or if you are aware, then well and good. You can go and have it checked out. Probably it could just be a loose connection. And that loose connection, if not fixed, can cost you an engine. So it is better you have your car to yourself so you know everything that happens with your car. And if you seem to have encountered a problem that is way above your budget, let's say you get a problem that you cannot fix at that moment, but your car still moves, the safest thing to do is please park that car. Get alternative means until you fix that car. Then you will have it for quite some time. You can park it. Yes, I'm talking to the middle income earners. You can park it because I understand how the financial situations can be dynamic. So if you can't afford something at a moment, but you know with time you'll be able to fix it right, do not break your back trying to prove any point. Park that car and have that thing fixed first before you can proceed with it. It will save you a lot more than having issues that will be running back to back. Also, last but not least, avoid DIY. Avoid DIY. Even for something that seems as simple as engine wash, do not do it yourself. Do not do it yourself before you get it wrong. Always and always in the German cars, consult your mechanic. They will do it better for you. Just imagine you break something and you don't understand what it is. How will you even start? The mechanics know how to do these things, so avoid DIY, avoid doing it yourself. Have your cars fixed at the garage and all will be well. Thank you so much for following up to this end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share this video with whoever needs it, and also subscribe to this channel on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Always yours, Andy Tony Odom, bringing you well-balanced and independent opinion. See ya. Thank you and have a wonderful time. Enjoy your German cars.